Okay, subject number 2. I have a hilarious story for you. Hi guys, back on again today. We'll see if I upload this today. That's my earbud. I don't have a hearing aid, but I do have a Bluetooth device that looks like one. So I am driving back from the airport. Our friends were in town for a few days and I just dropped them off. But I wanted to chat with you guys about a couple things, and this is a good time since I'm not home. And today's a little bit of a sad day in my nursery, so I kind of feel okay about filming without a baby, I guess. You know, it's a little touchy right now. Sorry, my zipper was stuck on my jacket. All right. All right, so I had 2 things to talk about. One, let's start with the obvious. If you haven't watched my previous video, then spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Today I said goodbye to a very special baby in my collection. And that baby is Miss Annie Brewster, who, part of me can't believe I even let her go, to be honest with you. She is an absolute jewel. Okay, so Annie Brewster I believe her new mommy's going to keep her name, but she was the peanut sculpt by, I always said Priscilla Lopez. I've had 2 people that I heard in the last couple of days say Lopes, but I believe that she is from South America or Spain, I'm not sure. So I assumed that it was Lopez, but I may be wrong. So if anybody knows for sure, let me know. I'm very curious because I do have interest in other sculpts from her. And I like to be correct with people's pronunciations as much as possible. But anyway, I did want to address that because I myself am shocked that she left. And I did want to talk a little bit about how that came about. The long and short of it is that I have very limited space in my collection. I do. And right now that number is 4. That's the number of spots in beds that I have. I have a very small area that's allocated for my dolls. And I could squeeze it to 5, but it just creates problems for train tracks for a number of reasons, okay? And I had the thought a couple of times, like, maybe I should consider selling her. And then I thought, well, why would you do that? You're totally happy with her. You love her. She's gorgeous, gorgeous. Her painting is incredible. Her artist is incredible. Her energy is incredible. Her personality is incredible. Her character is incredible. She's gorgeous. I'm like already kicking myself, but I have experienced something with my Niklaus and my Charlie that is another level. It's next level stuff, okay? And so that's initially why I thought about it. She was a big investment. She was certainly one of the most expensive dolls that I've ever purchased, and worth every penny. I mean, I seem to select the dolls, particularly from Wendy, that go, you know, twice as high as her other auctions. But I committed to that when I decided to bid on her, that I was going to do what it took to get her to my house, and I did. But I just felt like, I guess, when money gets a little tighter and when you compare, when you compare connections or whatever, you know, then the mind starts to think, you know, is this the right investment for the limited real estate that I have? And so certain circumstances happened where yesterday I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna explore it because I'm just tired of thinking about things and trying to work things out, and maybe this is like the way that it's supposed to go, you know? And I happen to know a friend, she's becoming a friend, and somebody that I really enjoy in the community that has always been interested in this doll even before I won her auction, and who I know really appreciates this artist's work, and who has a little bit of kinship with Annie Brewster and her sculpt and stuff. So I reached out and just said, hey, you know, I'm thinking about this. Would you be interested? I want to talk to you about it first because I know that you've expressed your interest and appreciation in this doll. She was very interested and very grateful. And so, you know, she was like, just let me know how and when. And I just kind of went with it. You know what, I just went with it because sometimes things go so smoothly and they flow so easily for a reason, and you know, the inverse of that, when they don't flow so smoothly and you have to force things, then they're not, you know, there's a reason for that too. And so this went very smoothly, and I just said, it's a doll, it's a gorgeous doll, and I think it would have happened eventually anyway. So if you see any hesitation in me, it's because I'm picturing how gorgeous she looked in her video. And I'm like, man, she is just beautiful. So I'm a little emotional about it. But anyway, I do hope that if she ever is available for adoption again, that her new mommy, owner, whatever, checks in with me first just to see where I'm at that point in my collection, and perhaps I have expanded space. I would love to have her back if that were the case, if I could accommodate that. But I always have to evaluate everything based on my current situation, you know, not the way that I hope things will be someday. So, I'm looking for my water bottle that's behind me somewhere. I'm so thirsty. So, that is the situation with Annie Brewster. Now, I'm very excited to see her with her new mom. I know that she's going to be thrilled with her painting, and that she knows exactly what to expect with Wendy's babies. And I love that feeling when somebody's so excited, and to be a part of that, you know, to like have their hands on a doll that they've always been interested in. To me, that's so cool to be a part of that. I got it. Yeah. All right, so that's subject number 1. Subject number 1B is there may be a new little one coming to my house, to my nursery. Well, in fact, there is a new little one. The wheels began to turn, and the wheels could not be stopped. And so, like it or not, and we like it, a new little one is coming. It's a little one. We don't know if it's a boy or a girl yet. We thought it might be a boy, but then Annie left. So now there's room for a girl. So we feel it may be a girl, but I think we are going to find out together. And we're going to find out if she fits and if we love her the way that we hope that we do. Or him. Or him. I don't know. Okay, subject number 2. I have a hilarious story for you. My husband's birthday was on Friday, alright? All along, he turned 40. All along, our best friends usually come, we usually get together in the beginning of September to celebrate the guys' birthdays. And we've done Santa Fe, New Mexico, and we've done Tennessee, Sevierville, Tennessee. And we were were going to be doing. We were hoping that they would come to our house, and it just was not happening. They got hit with all these expenses and a broken air conditioning unit and a sick cat and all these things. And you know, he was kind of bummed out, my husband. He really wanted to not be bummed out, and he was really being understanding, and he really didn't want to make a big deal out of 40 because it's just another birthday. But birthdays are the one celebration time that he thinks are like the most worth celebrating. In fact, he actually gives people presents on his birthday to celebrate, to share in the joy and the gratitude. So anyway, I saw the disappointment, and I know that he was battling a little bit, feeling like maybe they don't love me as much as I thought they did. I mean, he didn't want to feel that way, but I could see it. And so I was like, you know what? This is a big deal. So I gave him lots of presents, but then I also did a surprise party, and I contacted all of his clients that have also become friends, the ones that he connected with and that mean the most to him, and his mom and his best friend, and got them to do a surprise party. All the details don't matter, okay? But ultimately, everybody planned to get together at a place called the Friendly Tap at 7:15 so that we could arrive between 7:30 and 7:45, surprise him, and then his friend's band was playing music that night, and everybody was going to hang out and chill. So he needed to drop his daughter off at 7 and be home at 7. He got home at 7:03. Did the bathroom break, got everything ready. It was supposed to take about a half an hour to get there. We were on the road at 7:20, so 5 minutes behind schedule, no big deal. We get in the car, I'm hiding my phone, looking up directions, and directions say like an hour. I'm like, crap, it's supposed to only be 35 minutes. You know, we better hurry. So we said he can drive. I show him the outlay of the directions, but he has no idea where we're going. He thought we were doing an escape room. So we are driving and driving. I'm letting his mom know she's running point. I'm letting her know our progress. We're 15 minutes late, you know, blah, blah, blah. We're almost there. Okay, we're here. Okay, we parked. Okay, they're all crouched down behind the bar, and we walk into the bar, and perhaps I'll insert here. This is what happened. I don't think I'm in the right spot. Hold on. Where's the music?
The music?
Yeah.
The jukebox is right down the wall.
Oh. Okay.
So you make Chris feel crammed up right up there?
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Yes. So it was a little country bar, we'll say. We had to drive through lots of cornfields to get there. People were turning around wondering where we are. My friend Steve, if you watched my Reborn reaction video, was wearing his Fez hat with the eyeball on the front and the tassel on the top and a corduroy jacket. And okay, an eclectic bunch we were. I walk in and I say, excuse me, where's the music? Because I'm looking for the stairs to go upstairs and they do not exist. And she said, there's the jukebox over there. And I went, oh crap, we're in the wrong bar. And she's on their way out, she's yelling, well, I'll sing to ya. Oh my gosh, I get outside and I go, no. And I open up the map, and we are in a town called Plano, which is literally an hour west of where we needed to be. The bar was called the same, and the map only showed that one result, and in my haste, I did not realize. You guys, I took us an hour the wrong direction. I had 20 people crouched behind a bar waiting for us to walk in. We had to go another like 15 minutes east of where we started at my house. to get to where we needed to be. I almost died. I almost jumped out of a building. I almost threw up. I almost screamed. And all the while, my husband has no idea what we're there for. He thinks we're late for an appointment. He doesn't know. My friends are trying to keep quiet in the back, trying to resist, saying, everybody will wait, don't worry. Oh my goodness, you guys. It was one of the more mortifying moments of my life. I'm thinking they're all gonna leave. I've wasted all their time. How awful. How awful. And then MapQuest takes me to the first address on the MapQuest, Google Maps, and there's nothing there. It's in the right direction, but it's the wrong spot on the street. So then we pull up Waze, and we finally we end up 9:15. 2 hours after people arrived to hide. Or a couple minutes after 9, actually. A couple people had to go as soon as they said surprise. One guy left before then. You know, people didn't get to spend as much time with him as they would have liked to because he had to go. They had to go because they'd already waited for almost 2 hours for him. Ugh. I felt so horrible. I stole time with him. I stole his time with them. I just could not stop thinking of what it could have been versus what it was. Okay. Everybody was so beautiful and gracious about it. They made fun a little bit. They said, you know, stuff happens. People make mistakes. Like, it's okay. Don't worry about it. We totally get it. He was so patient. He was blown away, surprised. And the one guy, which was the first to RSVP, he's pretty successful guy. And he and Michael have built somewhat of a friendship over the last 5-6 years. He had to leave because he had a cycle ride in the morning, and I went in to email him when I heard he had left, and I said, I titled it, I am mortified. Did I say? Yeah. And I said, I am so sorry that we missed you, and I just cannot believe that this had happened, but thank you so much for coming out. You know, we're so grateful for your willingness and your time and all of that. And after I sent it, I realized he had emailed me right after he left and said, hey, I just had to leave. Sorry that I missed Michael, but I have a ride in the morning. So then I responded again and I said, okay, we must have just missed you. Again, I am so sorry. And he was so touched to hear how excited you were to be a part of this. And we get home that night and I find out that he had sent 2 messages to Michael. One basically telling him how disrespectful it was to have people waiting for 2 hours and with no updates, 20 people who don't know each other, and how uncomfortable and inconvenient that was. And 2, sort of like role-playing me to him about how, you know, oh, we have to leave at 7:45 to be somewhere at 8. All you have to do is show up on time and act surprised. You think you can handle that? As though he knew where we were going, which he absolutely did not. And then I checked my email and I had a response that said I would be beyond mortified. So of course I started crying. I was already berating myself as bad as I already could, and that stung. Mostly I was upset by the fact that on his birthday he chose to put that on him when it was nothing to do with him. It was a surprise, and generally imply that he knew what was going on and that we were just irresponsible with our time. And we ultimately had to get to a point where we had to just let it go, and he had to ask me to let it go so he could stop being upset by seeing me upset. And when he couldn't sleep that night at 4 in the morning, he drafted a long message sort of spelling out the way things were to this gentleman, and, you know, how he really needed to, if not apologize to me, at least explain where he was coming from, because, you know, of how I had worked so hard to do something nice, and I had done my best, and it was an honest mistake and a mistake with mapping, and that it could happen to anyone. especially under the circumstances of moving so quickly and trying to keep it a secret and being stressed about time, you know. He did write to me. He wrote mostly, you know, an apology, taking ownership, which was also a little passive-aggressive. But anyway, through that, I found out that my husband's mom was not sharing with everyone what was going on. There were a couple of people who I guess were not standing with the group because they felt uncomfortable, that didn't know, and she didn't tell them, and just basically were completely in the dark about where we were and why we were late. They didn't know that we had driven almost to Iowa and had to come all the way back, that I was profusely apologetic, that I was sick to my stomach with remorse, and that we were driving 100 miles an hour to get there. They had no idea where we were. So that's all that. But, so I've told this story on my channel before, and I've told this story in my life before, and it is my favorite story. So I'm going to tell this story again because I learned a lot about myself in seeing how for 2 days, the night that it happened and the entire next day, I just could not stop kicking myself. There was an opera singer up on stage. She sang the performance of her life at Carnegie Hall, and she's singing her heart out, and she finishes and the crowd erupts with a standing ovation. She doesn't feel happy inside, and she's looking and looking, and she's looking, and way up in the balcony up there, she sees a man in the front row of the balcony just sitting there, and he's not standing up for her. And she said, there, he heard that note that I messed up. He knows that I wasn't perfect. And she felt satisfied. And so she went out into the lobby to pay her respects to her guests after the show. And as she was talking with the guests, she saw the man who wasn't applauding her, and she realized that he was in a wheelchair. And so the moral of the story is that as you survey the people who are and are not cheering you on in life, don't take it personally when somebody is not giving you a standing ovation, because it is them who is handicapped. It has nothing to do with you. And that's exactly what I did. I had 20 people, plus my beloved, whose party it was, expressing their gratitude for my efforts and their sympathies for how difficult my mistake must be, and that they understood and that they were really happy to be a part of it. And I had one person, the person who I thought was the most on board for this whole thing, who got a little nasty and did not have sympathy or couth in how they handled it. And that is where I put all of my energy for a day and a half. So I thought that was interesting to see. But, you guys, can you imagine? I mean, can you imagine? Mortified. Alright, anyways. It's starting to get dark. I am about 1.5 miles from my house. So I'm going to wrap this up right now. And stay tuned, you guys. I don't know when I'll be back on. It could be tomorrow or it could be in a week. I will be traveling to the Natural Health Expo, Expo East, on Wednesday night. We fly out there to go to the expo. We're coming home on Monday, so there will definitely be a 5-day gap where I will not be on. But for sure we'll see you after that. But I'll keep you posted on what's going on. Definitely, have you ever had anything like that mortifying happen to you? Have you ever made a mistake where you just kick yourself? And, you know, number one, I always try to say, who knows what could have happened? If we were here at this time, what kind of accident could have happened? Secondly, that regret and that wanting to go back in time just a few moments to correct an irreversible mistake has happened to people who have made fatal, irreversible mistakes. So my plight of a birthday party is so minor, and I definitely feel have that in perspective. But have you ever had something mortifying like that happen to you? I love stories like that if you want to share. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in and visiting me while I drive and keeping me company. And I will look forward to touching base with all of you soon. I look forward to hearing from you. If you haven't subscribed, please, I invite you to do so if you love to look at babies and hear long chats. And we'll talk to y'all soon. Bye for now.